very much, Sir Gary. First, I want to thank the Honourable Member for Birmingham Yardley for bringing this debate and for speaking so passionately and so well on an issue that I know has been a lifelong passion for her, and I'm grateful for her continued pressure on this issue. I'm grateful also to Women for Refugee Women for putting together this report, and it's a very powerful report, and the Minister would do well to read through it and to pay close attention to what is proposed in order of resolving this situation. And I, as the sort of new chair of the new all-party group on immigration detention, which was set up just recently, I care very deeply that this issue is resolved and that we are not holding people who should not be in immigration at all, not even for any length of time, not at all, in immigration detention, and that this situation is resolved. And a good many of my own constituents who I see at surgeries have been through immigration detention, and for those constituents, all of them were released to continue with their lives. They were not removed from the country, they were not, the process was not taken any further. They should not have been there in the first place. And this happens, Sir Gary, again and again. And a constituent who was detained, he had a pregnant wife, and we were able to, with some intervention, get him released. We had a constituent who was Romanian and was detained after being lifted by the police for begging. He had serious health problems, and he was released. A constituent who'd been a victim of torture in the Central African Republic was held and was eventually released, and a constituent who was detained at a marriage interview, who again was subsequently released. And it seems to me, Sir Gary, that the Home Office plays almost like a modern-day cat and mouse act with some of the most vulnerable people in society, that they're taken in and out of immigration detention again and again, and they are deeply, deeply traumatised on top of the trauma they were already facing by the actions of the Home Office. And my good friend Linda Fabiani raised just recently that this is happening at Dungavel as well. And through a Freedom of Information request, she found that between 2014 and 2018, 19 children were detained at Dungavel. And from 2016-2018, 6 pregnant women were detained at Dungavel. And this is in clear contradiction of all the things that the Home Office have said that they would do. And I would ask the Minister what is being done to deal with this issue. And I appreciate some of the Minister might say that some of these cases are age-disputed cases, but that does not excuse the fact that even if these young people are on the very margins of that, they should be treated as children and should not be detained and traumatised. And even when people get through the immigration detention system, when they get through their applications, they still face further difficulties as well. And a constituent of mine who had been in Glasgow now for 5 years before her case was decided, and she now has refugee status and was supported by the Trafficking Awareness Raising Alliance in Glasgow, the Home Office is continuing to refer to her on her BRP by the name and the date of birth under which she was trafficked. And that causes her huge trauma and huge stress. And I would ask the Minister, I can provide her with the details afterwards, to intervene in this case, because it's just not right, Sir Gary, that this woman has gone through so much trauma and they're still referring to her by the name under which she was trafficked. That's just not acceptable, and it needs to stop. And I would like, finally, because I appreciate time is tight, to talk about the costs of this system, the costs of detaining people. And there is a huge cost, of course, in human lives, as the Honourable Member for Birmingham Yardley set out. But there's a huge cost as well to the department. And in 2018-19, the UK Home Office paid out £8.2 million for 312 cases where people had been wrongfully detained. And that's up from 212 people and a cost of £5.1 million in 2017-2018. And that's not even all of the costs for doing the immigration and detention estate. It's not the cost of the adverse legal costs that the Home Office have to pay. It's not the cost of other compensation that they've had to pay out as well. It's hugely expensive. It's traumatising. It damages lives. And as the Women for Refugee Women report points out, people are being denied even their rights within this system. And I would ask the Minister to intervene urgently and make sure that no more women are held under this system.
Thank you. Kate Osmer.